The Galactic Council convened 3 days after the Battle of Valkyrie Prime. Every ambassador was present. The chamber buzzed with shocked conversation. The impossible had happened. The Valkyrie Dominion, terror of the galaxy for 300 years, had been defeated by a species that had been in space for only 50 years. Ambassador Nari entered the chamber. She walked differently now. Her steps were confident. Her head was high. She was no longer asking for help. She was delivering terms. Honored members, Nari said. The chamber fell silent. The Valkyrie Dominion attacked humanity without provocation. They murdered 15,000 civilians. They demanded our surrender. They called us vermin. Today their fleet is destroyed. Their military is broken, and humanity stands victorious. The Quillix representative floated forward. What will you do now? Will you show mercy? Nari looked around the chamber. Where was this council when our people died? Where were you when the Valkyrie demanded we surrender? I came here 6 months ago begging for help. You offered us nothing but advice to run and hide. You told us to evacuate our colonies and accept our fate. Thessialan, the Melodian empath, stepped forward. Please, Nari, I can feel your anger. It's justified. But don't become what the Valkyrie were. Don't let hatred consume you. Hatred. Nari's voice was sharp. This isn't hatred. This is justice. The Valkyrie attacked 17 civilizations before us. Hundreds of worlds. Billions dead. And you did nothing. You sat in your safe council chambers and passed resolutions that meant nothing. She pulled up images on the main screen. Pictures of Haven's Rest before and after. Pictures of the survivors. A picture of Yujin, the 12-year-old girl who watched her parents die. This is what your inaction allowed, Nari said. This is what happens when good people do nothing while monsters roam free. Well, humanity did something. We stopped the Valkyrie, and now we will make sure this never happens again. What are you saying? The Torsion hive mind asked. I'm saying that humanity will not accept empty words and meaningless resolutions anymore, Nari said. We demand real change. We demand real justice, and if this council won't provide it, then Earth will. Above Valkyrie Prime, Admiral J1 faced a difficult choice. His fleet surrounded the planet. The Valkyrie military was defeated. The planet was defenseless. One command and he could turn Valkyrie Prime into another Haven's Rest. Many of his officers wanted exactly that. Commander Hyunwoo came to him personally. Admiral, we have them, Hyunwoo said. They're helpless. We should do to them what they did to us. 15,000 lives demand 15,000 Valkyrie lives. J1 looked at his old friend. He understood the anger. He felt it too. And then what? We become the monsters? We become the next Valkyrie Dominion? They started this, Hyunwoo said. Yes, they did, J1 agreed. But we get to decide how it ends. We get to choose what kind of species humanity will be. Do we want to be known as the ones who committed genocide? Or do we want to be known as the ones who were strong enough to show mercy when we could have chosen revenge? Hyunwoo was quiet for a long moment. They don't deserve mercy. No, J1 said. They don't. But we deserve to be better than them. Taeho stood in the communications room, watching the sensor data from Valkyrie Prime. 2 billion. Valkyrie lived on that planet. Civilians. Children. People who had nothing to do with the attack on Haven's Rest. His hands hovered over the weapons controls. One button. That's all it would take. The fleet's weapons could burn the planet's surface. Just like the Valkyrie did to Haven's Rest, he thought about Ji-Wan, about his daughter, about justice. Then he thought about what Ji-Wan would say if she could see him now. She had been a teacher. She believed in justice, not revenge. She had always said that killing the innocent to punish the guilty made you worse than the guilty. Taeho pulled his hands away from the controls. Not today, he whispered to his wife's memory. We're better than this. The decision was made. Humanity would not destroy Valkyrie Prime, but that didn't mean there would be no consequences. Commander Dae-Sung led a massive landing operation. 10,000 Marines descended to the planet's surface. Their mission was to secure all Valkyrie military facilities and arrest war criminals. The Valkyrie military surrendered without a fight. They had seen what human Marines could do. They had no desire to face them again. Among the arrested was a Valkyrie officer named Krelvor. He had been the bombardment commander at Haven's Rest. He had personally targeted the civilian shelters. Dae-Sung found him trying to hide in a government building. The Velkari officer was tall, over 2 meters, but he shook with fear when the human marines surrounded him. Please, Krelvor begged. I was following orders. I didn't want to save it, Daesung said. You're going to trial, and you're going to answer for every death. The trials began 2 months later on a neutral station. Judges from multiple species presided. Evidence was presented. Survivors testified. Yu Jin, now 13 years old, stood before the court. She was older, stronger, but the pain in her eyes remained. She looked at the Velkari commanders who sat in chains. I want to tell you about my parents, Yu Jin said. Her voice was steady. My mother was a botanist. She studied plants. She helped feed the colony. My father was an engineer. He built the water systems. They never hurt anyone. They just wanted to live in peace. She pulled out a picture. This is us. My family happy alive. Then you came. You didn't ask questions. You didn't negotiate. You just started killing. I watched from a shelter as your ships destroyed everything. I heard my parents screaming. I couldn't help them. I could only hide and listen as they died. The courtroom was completely silent. You said humans were vermin. Yu Jin continued. You were wrong. Vermin just try to survive. You enjoyed what you did. You laughed. I heard you laughing on the communications. You thought it was fun to kill us. She looked at each Velkari commander. I hope you spend every day for the rest of your lives thinking about what you did. I hope you see our faces in your dreams. I hope you never forget. The tribunal found the Velkari commanders guilty of genocide. The sentences ranged from life imprisonment to exile. No death sentences. Humanity had chosen justice over revenge, but justice meant more than just punishing the guilty. It meant making sure this could never happen again. Ambassador Nari presented the Haven Accords to the Galactic Council. The new laws were simple but powerful. Any species that committed genocide would face immediate military response from all council members. No more looking away. No more empty words. This is mandatory, Nari said. Not optional. Every species in the council must sign. If you refuse, humanity will enforce these laws ourselves. The council members looked at each other. They saw Earth's battle fleet in orbit above the station. They saw the determination in Nari's eyes. They signed. The Velkari Dominion was dismantled. Their military was disbanded. Their weapons were destroyed. Their colonies were placed under council supervision. For 3 generations, they would not be allowed to have warships. The Velkari people themselves were left alone. Humanity sent food and medicine to Velkari Prime. Dr. Hyejin led a team of scientists who helped rebuild the planet's infrastructure. One day, a young Velkari child approached Dr. Hyejin. The child was scared but curious. Why are you helping us? We killed your people. Hyejin knelt down to the child's level. Your leaders killed our people. Not you, you're just a child. You didn't choose this war. And I won't punish you for what others did. But don't you hate us? The child asked. Hyejin thought about that. I hate what was done. I hate the commanders who ordered it. But I don't hate you. You're innocent. And if we want to build a better galaxy, we have to start somewhere. We have to choose to break the cycle of hatred. The child didn't fully understand, but nodded anyway. Back on Earth, Admiral Jaewon stood before a memorial. It listed the names of every human who died in the war, 7,312 names. So many lives lost. Someone walked up beside him. It was Taeho. We won, Taeho said quietly. Did we? Jaewon asked. 7,000 of our people are dead. The Velkari lost hundreds of thousands. Entire fleets were destroyed. Cities were damaged. How is this winning? Taeho looked at the memorial. We stopped them. We made sure they can't hurt anyone else. We showed the galaxy that evil has consequences. That's something. Maybe, Jaewon said. I just hope it was worth it. I hope Jiwon would think it was worth it. She would, Taeho said firmly. My wife believed in justice. She believed good people had to stand up to evil, even when it cost them. She would be proud of what we did. Proud that we won without becoming monsters ourselves. They stood together in silence, remembering the dead and hoping the living had learned something from all this pain. The Velkari scout ship detected the human fleet 3 days before they reached Velkari territory. The scout captain immediately sent a message back to Admiral Velkarthor. 200 human vessels approaching. They appear to be warships. Should we engage? Velkarthor's response was filled with contempt. Let them come. Activate all defensive stations. Summon the fleet. These primitives want to die. We will grant their wish. But the human fleet didn't attack the way the Velkari expected. Instead of charging straight at Velkari Prime, the homeworld, the fleet split apart. 20 groups of 10 ships each scattered in different directions. Admiral J1 watched from the bridge of his flagship. Earthborn. Begin Operation Ghost Wolf, all squadrons, you know your targets. Hunt them down, Hyunwoo commanded Squadron 7. His 10 ships jumped to a supply depot on the edge of Velkari space. The depot was huge, storing fuel and food for hundreds of Velkari ships. Guards protected it, 3 cruisers that immediately moved to intercept. Here they come, Hyunwoo said. Remember the training. Hit fast, hit hard.
Get out, his ships didn't slow down.
They came in at full speed, launched every missile they had, then jumped back to faster than light before the Velkari could return fire. The depot exploded in a massive fireball. 3 Velkari cruisers and enough supplies for a month were gone in 60 seconds. Squadron 7 to command, Hyunwoo reported. Target destroyed. 0 casualties. Moving to next objective. Across Velkari space, the other squadrons were doing the same thing. Supply depots vanished. Communication relays were destroyed. Small outposts were hit so fast the defenders didn't have time to call for help. The Velkari were confused. This wasn't how civilized species fought. You were supposed to mass your fleet and fight one big battle. You weren't supposed to strike everywhere at once like terrorists. Admiral Velkarthor grew furious. Cowards. They're running away from a real fight. Gather the fleet at Velkari Prime. Let them come to us. But while the Velkari gathered their ships, the humans were learning. Every destroyed Velkari vessel had computers full of data. Taeho and his team analyzed everything. Fleet movements, weapon specifications, defensive protocols, even personal messages between Velkari commanders. They're predictable, Taeho reported to Admiral Jaewon. They follow the same tactical patterns every time. When attacked, they form defensive spheres. When pursuing, they spread in a standard search pattern. They've been winning for so long, they've stopped innovating. Good, Jaewon said. Predictable enemies are dead enemies. Continue the raids for another month. Let them get angry. Let them make mistakes. For 6 months, the human fleet terrorized Velkari space. Every time the Velkari sent ships to hunt them, the humans would vanish. Every time the Velkari thought they were safe, another depot or relay would explode. Captain Subin became famous for a tactic called the hammer drop. Her ship would wait above a Velkari position, completely still, engines off. The Velkari sensors couldn't detect a ship that wasn't moving. Then when Velkari ships passed below, the righteous fury would drop on them like a falling hammer, guns blazing. In one battle, Subin destroyed 5 Velkari cruisers before they even knew they were under attack. Jinwoo, she said to her AI, mark 5 more names off the revenge list. Commander Daesung's Marines perfected boarding operations. Velkari ships were designed for their fragile crews. The corridors were tall but weak. The walls were thin. When human Marines boarded, they would literally smash through walls, appearing where the Velkari least expected them. In one famous incident, Daesung's team boarded a Velkari command ship. The Velkari soldiers tried to fight, but they were helpless. Human armor was too strong. Human weapons were too powerful. And humans were far too aggressive in close combat. They fight like they enjoy it, one surviving Velkari soldier reported later. They don't just kill. They dominate. It's terrifying. Finally, after 6 months of raids, Admiral Jaewon ordered the fleet to regroup. They had lost 30 ships but destroyed over 200 Velkari vessels. More importantly, they had destroyed the Velkari's confidence. Time for the final phase, Jaewon said. Set course for Velkari Prime, we end this. Velkari Prime was beautiful from space. The planet was covered in purple crystal formations that grew naturally from the ground. Cities were built around these formations, glittering like jewels. 2 billion Velkari lived there. Admiral Velkarthor waited with his full armada. 2,000 warships surrounded the planet in perfect defensive formation. He had spent months preparing for this battle. Every ship was in position. Every weapon was ready. The humans only have 170 ships left, Velkarthor said to his officers. We outnumber them 12 to 1. This will be their grave. When the human fleet arrived, they didn't immediately attack. They stopped just outside weapons range and broadcast a message. Admiral Jaewon appeared on every Velkari screen. Admiral Velkarthor, 6 months ago you offered us terms. Surrender or die. Today we offer you the same choice. Surrender your fleet and stand trial for what you did at Haven's Rest. Or die here. defending a planet that will remember you as the fool who started a war with Earth. Velkarthor's response was immediate. You dare threaten me? You're outnumbered and outgunned. This is suicide. Maybe, J1 said. But we're from Earth, we're good at suicide charges. Let's see if you're good at stopping them. The Battle of Valkyrie Prime began with chaos. The human fleet didn't form defensive lines. They charged straight at the Valkyrie formation. Ships at full speed, weapons firing non-stop. The Valkyrie opened fire. Purple energy beams filled space. Human ships exploded. The righteous fury took 3 direct hits but kept coming. Shields at 40%, Kite reported to Subin. Doesn't matter, Subin said. All guns fire. Jinwu, target their flagship. The human railguns launched metal slugs at incredible speed. The Valkyrie shields, designed to stop energy weapons, couldn't handle the kinetic impacts. Slug after slug punched through, tearing into Valkyrie hulls. Their shields are breaking. Tejo reported from the command ship. All squadrons, focus fire on damaged vessels. The humans didn't try to fight fair. When a Valkyrie ship's shields failed, 5 human ships would focus on it until it exploded. Then they'd move to the next one. It was brutal and efficient. Hyunwoo's squadron performed a maneuver they called the slingshot. They flew straight at a cluster of Valkyrie ships, then cut their engines and spun around. As momentum carried them through the enemy formation, they fired in all directions at once. 6 Valkyrie ships exploded before they realized what happened. But the Valkyrie were not helpless. They had numbers and experience. Human ships fell. Brave crews died in explosions of fire and metal. The righteous fury lost half its armor. 3 of Hyunwoo's ships were destroyed. Then Commander Daesung's Marines entered the fight. Boarding pods launched from human ships like bullets. They smashed into Valkyrie hulls and drilled through. Marines poured out into the enemy ships. The Valkyrie crew tried to fight back, but it was useless. Human Marines in full armor were unstoppable. They moved through the ships like ghosts, their weapons firing deadly accurate shots. When they ran out of ammunition, they used their armored fists. One Marine squad led by Shung Ho captured a Valkyrie cruiser's engine room. Set the reactor to overload, Daesung ordered from the command net. 10-minute delay. Shung Ho and his team set the charges and evacuated. The cruiser exploded from within, taking 2 other Valkyrie ships with it. The battle lasted 3 days. Space around Valkyrie Prime became a graveyard of broken ships. Human vessels fought until they ran out of weapons, then used their ships themselves as battering rams. Subin's ship, the Righteous Fury, lost its main guns. Captain, Kite said, we're out of railgun ammunition. Missiles depleted. We still have lasers, but they're not very effective. Subin looked at the tactical screen. Admiral Velkarthor's flagship was right there, shields down but still fighting. Jinwu, calculate a ramming course. Captain, that would destroy this ship, the AI warned. I know, Subin said. She opened a ship-wide channel. All hands, this is the captain. Prepare for collision. Everyone to escape pods. You have 2 minutes. Captain, you can't, Kite started. That's an order, Subin said. Go, all of you. Someone needs to tell Earth what we did here. Her crew reluctantly evacuated. Subin stood alone on the bridge, her hands on the controls. The Righteous Fury, covered in the names of 15,000 dead, aimed at the Valkyrie flagship. For my brother, Subin whispered. For Haven's Rest, for Earth. At the last second, Admiral Jaewon's voice came over her radio. Subin, stand down. That's an order. Sorry, Admiral, Subin said. Can't hear you. Communications must be damaged. She pushed the engines to maximum. The Righteous Fury accelerated. The Valkyrie flagship tried to turn, but it was too slow. The human dreadnought slammed into it like a meteor. Both ships exploded in a fireball visible from the planet's surface. The death of Admiral Velkarthor broke the Valkyrie fleet. With their commander dead and a third of their ships destroyed, the remaining vessels began to retreat. All ships, pursue and disable, Admiral Jaewon ordered. His voice was tired, sad. No more killing unless they continue fighting. The Valkyrie surrendered 4 hours later. The morning Earth's war fleet departed. 3 billion people stopped what they were doing to watch. Every screen in every home showed the same images. 200 warships hung in orbit, their hulls gleaming in the sunlight. Each one carried a crew that had volunteered. No one was forced to go. Everyone wanted to. Captain Subin stood on the bridge of the Righteous Fury, the largest dreadnought humanity had ever built. She was 28 years old, Young for a captain, but she had earned her position through skill and determination. More importantly, she had a reason to fight. Her brother had died on Haven's Rest. "All systems ready, Captain," her first officer reported. His name was Kitai, and he had lost his parents in the attack. Subin looked at her crew. 40 people worked at their stations, their faces focused and determined. Not one of them smiled. This wasn't an adventure. This was revenge. "Display the hull," Subin ordered. The main screen showed the exterior of the Righteous Fury. Along its armor plating, painted in white letters, were 15,000 names. Every person who died on Haven's Rest. The names covered the entire ship from bow to stern. "They'll know who we fight for," Subin said quietly. "Let's make them proud." The ship's AI activated. Its voice was male and calm. Subin had named it Jinwoo after her brother. "All weapon systems online. Engines ready. Awaiting your command, Captain." "Jinwoo," Subin said. "Calculate firing solutions for Velkari ship types. Use all available data. I want to know how to kill them fast." "Calculating," the AI responded. "Based on captured Velkari technology, their shields are strong against energy weapons but weak against kinetic projectiles. Recommendation: use railguns and missiles for primary attacks. Energy weapons for secondary strikes." "Good," Subin said. "Remember that, everyone. We hit them with metal first, lasers second." In another part of the fleet, Commander Dae-sung inspected his Marines. 2,000 soldiers stood in perfect rows in the hangar bay. They wore black armor covered with equipment. Each one carried enough weapons to fight for days without resupply. Dae-sung walked slowly down the rows. He was a big man, built like a mountain. His face was scarred from training accidents. His eyes were hard. "Listen up," he said. His voice echoed in the hangar. "The Velkari think we're soft because we're new to space. They think we'll break easy. They're wrong. Earth made us strong. Training made us deadly. Anger makes us unstoppable." He paused. "The Velkari breathe a mix of methane and nitrogen. If their suits rupture, they suffocate. They're tall and fast, but brittle. Their bones break easy. They've never fought in heavy gravity. They've never faced an enemy that enjoys close combat." A young Marine named Seung-ho raised his hand. "Sir, what if they surrender?" "Then we take them prisoner according to military law," Dae-sung said. "We're not monsters. We're Marines. We follow orders and we fight with honor. But make no mistake, if they fight, we fight harder. If they run, we chase. If they beg, we remember Haven's Rest," the Marines shouted in unison. "For Haven's Rest!" Taeho sat in the communications room of his new assignment. After the space station above Haven's Rest was abandoned, he had joined the fleet. Admiral J1 had given him a special job, tactical coordinator. He would analyze enemy movements and plan fleet responses. On his desk sat a picture of Ji-won and their daughter. He looked at it every morning. The picture reminded him why he was here, why all of them were here. "Taeho," a voice said. He looked up. It was Hyunwoo, the cargo captain who had recorded the Haven's Rest attack. He now commanded a destroyer squadron. "Hyunwoo," Taeho said, "shouldn't you be on your ship?" "In 10 minutes, Hyunwoo said. He sat down across from Taeho. "I wanted to ask you something. Do you think we can win?" Taeho looked at his friend for a long moment. "Honestly, I don't know. The Velkari have more ships. They have more experience. They have better technology in some areas. That's not encouraging," Hyunwoo said. "But," Taeho continued, "they've never fought Earth. They don't know what we're capable of. They think we're weak primitives. That arrogance is their weakness." He tapped the picture on his desk. "And we're not fighting for territory or resources. We're fighting for them, for everyone they killed. That makes us dangerous," Hyunwoo nodded slowly. "I recorded everything that happened. I watched 15,000 people die and I couldn't do anything. Now I can. Now we all can." "Then let's make it count," Taeho said. The fleet made one stop before heading to Velkari space. They went to Haven's Rest. The planet was still dark from orbit, covered in ash and smoke. But the fleet needed to see what they were fighting for. Admiral J1 ordered all ships to send landing parties. "Everyone needs to see this," he said. "Everyone needs to remember." Subin led a team down to the surface. They landed near what used to be a town called New Seoul. Nothing remained but rubble. The buildings were gone. The streets were craters. Everything was gray and dead. They found the entrance to a deep shelter. The door was blown open. Inside, Subin's team discovered survivors. 87 people had lived in the deep underground bunkers. They had water and food and air recyclers. They had survived the attack but couldn't leave because the surface was toxic. Among them was a girl named Yujin. She was 12 years old, thin and dirty. Her eyes were too old for her age. When the Marines found her, she was sitting alone drawing pictures of her parents. "Who are you?" Yujin asked when Subin approached. "I'm Captain Subin. We're from Earth. We're here to help you." Yujin looked at Subin's uniform, at the weapon on her hip, at the determination on her face. "Are you going to fight the Valkyrie?" "Yes," Subin said. "Good," Yujin said. She handed Subin her drawing. It showed two people holding hands. "These were my parents. I watched them die. The Valkyrie just laughed and kept shooting." Tears ran down her face. "Make them pay, please." Subin knelt down and looked Yujin in the eyes. "I promise. We all promise." The survivors were brought up to the fleet ships. They were given food, clean clothes, medical care. Admiral J1 went to meet them personally. When he saw Yujin, something in his expression changed. He knelt before the young girl like Subin had. "What's your name?" "Yujin," she said quietly. "Yujin, I'm Admiral J1. I command this fleet." He took her small hand in his large ones. "I want you to know something. Every person on these ships is fighting for you. For your parents. For everyone who died. We will make the Valkyrie remember humanity. Every last one of them." "I swear it on my life," Yujin nodded. She didn't smile. She couldn't, not yet, but she squeezed his hand. That night, Admiral J1 broadcast a message to the entire fleet. Every crew member, every Marine, every pilot stopped to listen. "Today we saw Haven's Rest," J1 said. "We saw what the Valkyrie did to our people. Some of you have lost family. Some have lost friends. All of us have lost our innocence. The galaxy is not a peaceful place. It's a place where the strong prey on the weak and cowards stand by and do nothing." He paused. "The Valkyrie think we're weak. They sent us a message demanding surrender. They called us vermin. They said we're not worth their time. Today I'm sending them our response." The screen changed. It showed Admiral Velkarthor's face, the Valkyrie commander who ordered Haven's Rest destroyed. J1's voice was cold as ice. "You declared war on humanity. Now let us show you how humans wage war. We don't fight for honor. We don't fight for territory. We fight to destroy those who hurt us. You wanted our attention. You have it. We're coming for you." The message ended. The fleet erupted in cheers. Captain Hyunwoo smiled on his bridge. "Set course for Valkyrie space. Maximum speed," Commander D. Sung loaded his weapon. "Time to teach these crystal bastards why you don't attack Deathworlders." Subin touched the names painted on her ship's hull. "We're coming, Jinwoo. We're all coming." And Taeho, looking at his family's picture one last time before storing it away, whispered, "For G1, for everyone. We'll make them remember us." The fleet jumped to faster than light speed. The war had begun, and the Valkyrie had no idea what was coming for them. The alarm screamed through the space station, and Taeho ran to the observation deck. His heart pounded in his chest as he stared at the screens showing Haven's Rest below. The planet looked peaceful from up here, with its green fields and white domes scattered across the surface. That peace was about to end. 3 massive ships appeared in the sky. They were unlike anything Taeho had seen before. The vessels looked like they were made of purple crystal, sharp and deadly. They moved slowly like predators circling prey. The Valkyrie had arrived. Taeho grabbed his radio. "All stations, battle alert. Get the defense guns online now." His hands shook as he tried to reach the planet's surface. "G1, can you hear me? You need to get to the shelters." "Take our daughter and run," the radio crackled. His wife's voice came through, confused and scared. "Taeho, what's happening? The sky is turning dark." "Listen to me," Taeho said, fighting to keep his voice steady. "Alien ships are here. Get underground, do it now. I love you both." "We're going," G1 said. The sirens are going off everywhere. People are running. The transmission cut to static. On the observation deck, the other crew members stood frozen, watching their screens. Below them, beams of bright purple light shot down from the Valkyrie ships. Where the beams touched the planet, everything exploded. The agricultural domes burst like bubbles. The towns vanished in flashes of white fire. The green fields turned black. "No," Taeho whispered. No, he tried the radio again. "G1, answer me!" "Please," only static answered him back. He switched channels, trying to reach anyone on the surface. Every channel played the same horrible sounds, screaming, explosions. Then silence. The attack lasted 3 hours. The Velkari ships moved across the planet like they were mowing grass, destroying everything in their path. They were thorough. They were efficient. They showed no mercy. Hyunwoo watched it all from his cargo ship, the Morning Star. He was supposed to be delivering supplies to Haven's Rest today. Instead, he watched 15,000 people die. His hands gripped the ship's controls so hard his knuckles turned white. "Captain," his co-pilot said quietly, "should we run?" "Record everything," Hyunwoo said. His voice sounded dead. "Every second of this. The people back home need to see what happened here." The Velkari sent a message after the attack. It played on every frequency, impossible to ignore. A tall alien appeared on screen. Its body was covered in purple crystal armor. Its face had no nose, just 2 slits above a wide mouth full of sharp teeth. Its eyes glowed red. "I am Admiral Velkarthor of the Velkari Dominion," the alien said. Its voice was cold and harsh. "You humans have built colonies in space that belongs to us. This is your punishment for that crime. You have 7 of your Earth days to surrender 12 more colonies to us. If you refuse, we will destroy them all. You are weak. You are primitive. You are nothing but vermin infesting our territory. Obey or die," the message ended. Hyunwoo's hands were shaking now. "Vermin," he said. "They called us vermin." Back on the space station, Taeho stood in the observation room long after everyone else had left. Haven's Rest was dark now. No lights, no life. Just smoke rising from a dead world. Somewhere down there, buried in the ruins, were the bodies of his wife and daughter. A hand touched his shoulder. It was his friend Minho, another station officer. "I'm sorry," Minho said. "I'm so sorry." Taeho didn't respond. He just stared at the dark planet below. The recording of the attack reached Earth 3 days later. Sung-min, the youngest member of Earth's Defense Council, watched it in the meeting room. Around him, the other council members sat in shocked silence. On the screen, they watched the purple beams destroy everything. They listened to Admiral Velkarthor call humanity vermin. "They didn't even try to talk first," one council member said. "They just started killing." 15,000 people, another said. "Gone in 3 hours. The oldest council member, a woman named Miran, stood up. "The Galactic Council needs to hear about this. This is genocide. The aliens have laws against this, do they?" Sung-min asked quietly. Everyone looked at him.
Do they really?
"Or do they just have words written on paper? Because from what I saw, no one helped us. No one stopped this." The room fell silent. Sung-min stood and walked to the window. Earth stretched below, blue and green and alive. "The Velkari think we're weak. They think we'll surrender because we're new to space. They think we're vermin." He turned to face the others. "I say we show them what happens when you attack Earth." "You're talking about war," Miran said. "They started the war," Sung-min replied. "When they killed our people. When they burned our colony. When they called us vermin and told us to surrender or die." He looked at each council member. "The only question now is how we respond." The vote was unanimous. Earth would mobilize for war. Admiral Jae-won received his orders that same day. He was a career military officer, 45 years old with gray starting to show in his hair. He had fought in border conflicts and trained for 100 different scenarios. He had never expected to fight aliens. In his office, he looked at the photos of Haven's Rest. The before pictures showed happy families, children playing, people working in the fields. The after pictures showed nothing but ash and ruins. His assistant, a young officer named Bo-ra, stood at attention. "Sir, the orders are to prepare for a military response. How large a force will you need?" Jae-won studied the photos for a long moment. Then he looked up. "Every ship we have. Every soldier. Every weapon. This isn't a border dispute, Bo-ra. This is extinction or survival." "Yes, sir," Bo-ra said. She paused. "Sir, can we win?" Jae-won picked up a photo of a little girl smiling at the camera. She had been 5 years old. She was dead now. "We have to," he said. "Because if we don't, humanity dies. The Velkari made it clear. They see us as vermin to exterminate. So we'll show them what happens when they try to exterminate the wrong species." He pressed a button on his desk. "Send the mobilization orders. All military personnel report immediately. All reserves activated. All shipyards to begin war production. Tell them we leave in 3 months." "And the message to the Velkari?" Bo-ra asked. Jae-won smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Tell them they wanted our attention. Tell them they have it. Tell them the Deathworlders are coming. The Galactic Council chamber was massive. It floated in space, a station the size of a small moon. Inside, representatives from 43 different species gathered in the Great Hall. The air was carefully controlled to suit everyone, with different sections having different atmospheres. Some aliens breathed oxygen like humans. Others needed methane or ammonia. Some didn't breathe at all. Ambassador Nari stood in the human section, breathing regular air. She wore her formal diplomatic uniform, dark blue with Earth's symbol on the shoulder. She was 32 years old and had been humanity's voice to the galaxy for only 2 years. Today would be her hardest speech yet. Honored members of the council, Nari began. Her voice was translated into 43 different languages simultaneously. 3 weeks ago, the Velkari Dominion attacked our colony on Haven's Rest without warning. They killed 15,000 civilians, men, women, and children. They destroyed everything and left nothing alive. A ripple went through the chamber. Some aliens shifted uncomfortably. Others remained still. The Quilix representative, a creature that looked like a floating jellyfish, spoke in bubbling sounds. We express sorrow for your loss. But the Velkari claimed that space was theirs. This is a territorial dispute. A territorial dispute? Nari's voice rose. They murdered 15,000 people. They didn't negotiate. They didn't warn us. They just killed. An insect-like alien from the Torsion Hive clicked its mandibles. The Velkari Dominion is powerful. They have 3,000 warships. What can humanity do? You have been in space for only 50 years. Be wise. Evacuate your colonies. Survive. Nari looked around the chamber. She saw fear in many eyes. She saw pity in some, but she saw no offers of help. No promises of protection. The galaxy was afraid of the Velkari, and they would let humanity die rather than fight. An alien stepped forward. It looked almost human, but with blue skin and large eyes. This was Thessialin, ambassador from the Melodians. Her people were empaths who could feel emotions. She looked at Nari with genuine sadness. Please, Thessialin said softly. I can feel your pain. I can feel your anger. But anger will not save you. The Velkari have destroyed 17 civilizations. They have never lost a war. Accept their terms. Live to see another day. Nari took a deep breath. Then she smiled. It was not a happy smile. You don't understand what the Velkari have done. You see us as weak because we're new to space. You think we should run and hide. But you don't know where humans come from. We know Earth, the Quilix said. A water world with oxygen atmosphere. Common enough? No, Nari said. Not common. Earth is rated as a Class 12 death world. Do you know what that means? Silence fell over the chamber. Some aliens checked their data screens. Others looked confused. Nari continued. Earth's gravity is twice as strong as most garden worlds. Our bones are dense like stone. Our muscles are built to fight that crushing weight every single day. A Quilix would be crushed flat on Earth's surface. A Melodian couldn't even stand up. She walked to the center of the speaking platform. Earth has predators that hunt other predators. We have insects that can kill us with poison. We have bacteria that wage war inside our bodies every day. We have storms that can tear apart buildings. We have earthquakes and volcanoes and floods. This sounds terrible, Thessialin said. How do you survive there? That's the point, Nari said. We don't just survive. We evolved there. We are the apex predators of a world that kills everything weak. Our ancestors didn't run from danger. They hunted it down. They chased prey for days until it collapsed from exhaustion. They fought with tools and tactics and teamwork. She pulled up an image on the main screen. It showed Earth's history of wars. Thousands of years of human conflict. We have been fighting wars since before we discovered fire. We know violence in our bones. We understand strategy and tactics and sacrifice. And unlike most species in this galaxy, we are very, very good at organized destruction. The chamber was completely silent now. The Velkari think we're vermin, Nari said. They think we'll surrender because we're afraid. But they made one critical mistake. They hurt us. They killed our children. And now every human in the galaxy wants revenge. Not justice. Not compensation. Revenge. Back on Earth, Dr. Heejin was explaining the same thing to a room full of military officers. She was a xenobiologist, someone who studied alien life. She had spent 10 years examining the species of the galaxy. Most aliens come from what we call garden worlds, Heejin said. showing images of beautiful planets with soft colors and gentle landscapes. Low gravity. No major predators. Abundant food. They evolved in paradise compared to Earth. She switched to a new image. The Velkari are different. They're aggressive and warlike. But even they come from a world with only 60% of Earth's gravity. Their soldiers are fast, but they're fragile. A human could break Velkari bones with a strong punch. One of the officers, a colonel named Do Yoon, raised his hand. Why haven't these garden world species developed strong militaries if they're so weak? Because they never needed to, Hyejin explained. Imagine growing up in a world where nothing wants to eat you, where food grows everywhere, where the weather is always pleasant. Would you become a warrior? No, Do Yoon admitted. I'd become soft. Exactly, Hyejin said. Most galactic species see war as a terrible last resort. They fight with technology, not tactics. They use their ships like shields, not weapons. They don't understand persistence or sacrifice or the willingness to die for victory. She pulled up a new image. It showed a human soldier in combat gear. This is what makes us Deathworlders. We're stronger, tougher, and more aggressive than most of the galaxy. We heal faster. We endure more. We can function under stress that would break other species. And most importantly, we have something they don't. What's that? Do Yoon asked. The ability to choose violence and then control it, Hyejin said. Earth made us into predators. But humanity made us into disciplined predators. We can be ruthless when needed and merciful when we choose. The galaxy is about to learn the difference. Admiral Jae-won stood in the shipyard looking at the vessels under construction. Engineers and workers swarmed over the hulls like ants. Every ship was being modified for war. Cargo haulers were getting missile pods. Science vessels were getting armor plating. Luxury cruise ships were being turned into troop carriers. How long? He asked the chief engineer, a woman named Sunja. 3 months like you ordered, Sunja said. We're working triple shifts. Every shipyard in the solar system is doing the same. We'll give you 200 warships. The Velkari have 3,000, Jae-won said. Sunja shrugged. Then we better make each one count. Besides, I heard what Dr. Hyejin said. The Velkari have never fought Deathworlders before. Maybe numbers don't matter as much as they think. Jae-won watched a new armor plate being welded onto a destroyer. I hope you're right. Because if we fail, humanity ends. The Velkari won't give us a second chance, but we won't fail, Sunja said firmly. My daughter was on Haven's Rest, my grandchildren. They're dead because the Velkari think we're weak. I'll build you the best ships in the galaxy, Admiral, and you'll show those crystal bastards what humans can do. 3 months passed quickly. The fleet grew. Soldiers trained. Weapons were tested and retested. Earth's entire economy shifted to war production. Every news station showed updates. Every citizen followed the preparations. Humanity had never been so united. On the day the fleet was ready to depart, Nari returned from the Galactic Council. She went straight to Admiral Jae-won's office. The council refused to help, she reported. They say it's a matter between us and the Velkari. They won't interfere. Cowards, Jae-won said. Maybe, Nari said. Or maybe they're just scared. The Velkari have ruled through fear for centuries. No one wants to be next, she paused. But I did learn something useful. The Velkari have never fought a species that refused to surrender. Every civilization they attacked either submitted or was destroyed quickly. They don't know how to handle an enemy that keeps fighting. Jae-won smiled grimly. Then they're in for a very bad surprise. Because humans don't quit. It's not in our nature.